What is up? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today I'm going to be doing Adamancipators. This deck is pretty awesome and is also one of the strongest combo decks in the game along with Drytron. It has access to some tools that are banned in the TCG like Black Dragon and Union Carrier, which make the deck much stronger and very difficult to deal with. So the version of the deck that I'm playing is the Sekka's Light build. This is just one way to play the deck. So what this does is play all monsters and then just 3 Sekka's Light. Because Sekka's Light, you can only use it if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard. And for the rest of the duel, it locks you out of all other spells and traps except Sekka's Light. But what you get in exchange for that is that it's Pot of Greed. So you draw 2 cards, and when it's in your graveyard, you can also shuffle 1 monster from your hand into the deck and then draw another card. So you can draw up to 3 cards in one turn with just this card, which is extremely good. And obviously that's why it's so restrictive and prevents you from using other spells and traps. Luckily in this deck, you can go heavy with a lot of monsters, including hand traps, tuners, and then obviously your engine cards and the rock monsters that you want to excavate. So let's go into the deck profile, I guess. Unfortunately, I can't sort it how I want to. I don't want to go through this first. I'll go through the key cards. So we have the 3 starters. So Researcher, Seeker, and Analyzer. So each of these has a different first effect, which is, so for Researcher, if you control a rock monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Seeker says if you control an Adamancipator monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And Analyzer says, if only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. This one is the best going second. And the second effect, each of them have the exact same effect. So during your main phase, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can special summon 1 excavated level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster, and then place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So each of these 3 do the same thing. So ideally you want to open all 3 of them, and then you get to excavate. And if you hit a card like Kawakimeru Guardian, or Taco Crusader, or Roxy's, or Supplier, you can special summon it, or Doki Doki. So the deck is basically structured so that you have a very high probability of excavating a rock monster that you can summon. Obviously there is a luck-based element to it, but playing the deck in this way allows you to increase your consistency pretty high. So in your rest of your main deck, we have Taco Crusader. So you basically want to play like the good generic, well not generic, but the good level 4 rock monsters that are non-tuners so that you can excavate with them. So one of them would be Taco Crusader. This is one way that you can out skill drain, for example. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Then your opponent cannot activate cards with that same name for the rest of the turn. So it's pretty useful in that situation. Supplier is a very good extender. If a face-up rock monster you control is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then it can search 1 Kawakimeru card, which is going to be Guardian. Guardian's a very important level 4 as well, because it's just a straight-up monster negate. When a monster effect is activated, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So if you're able to get Guardian out early with an excavation, then your opponent is not going to be able to use other hand traps like Nibiru, because you can just negate it. But this card is very powerful. You generally want to keep it on board for as long as possible until you go into Appaloosa. So for the other rocks, we have Doki Doki. This is another way to help get to your starters. So if you open just Doki Doki and like a Guardian or Supplier, you can just discard them and then summon an Analyzer from your deck, and that's a combo starter that you have. So Doki Doki is another good generic non-tuner rock. Gigantes is very good as well. This one cannot be normal summoned or set, and you can't special summon it when you excavate, but you can search it with Black Dragon and can summon it by banishing 1 earth monster from your graveyard. This is it's a free body that you get on board. And also if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy all spells and traps on the field. So this is another way to outskill drain, because it activates in the graveyard. We have Nibiru. Nibiru is both searchable with Gallant Granite and a very strong hand trap. And it can also be summoned if you excavate it with Raptite, because Raptite can summon any rock monster, not just a level 4 or lower non-tuner like these ones. So you can actually summon Nibiru and get a big beater on board. Search it with Gallant Granite. Then we have the Prank Kids engine. We have 3 Roxys, 1 Dropsies, and we have Meow Meow Mew and Dodo Doodle Doo. Yeah, the names are a little tricky to say. But I really like this engine. It's very convenient that Roxy's happens to be a level 4 non-tuner rock monster. So you can summon it when you excavate it. Basically what you do with it is to use it as a link climbing material. So if you just have Roxy's on board, you can link summon Meow Meow Mew with it, use its effect to banish 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card, and then summon the Dropsies from your deck. Then you have both this and this on board. You link them into Dodo Doodle Doo, you gain 1,000 life points, and then you summon your other Roxys. So you started with just Roxys, and then you ended with Dodo Doodle Doo and Roxys, which is effectively 3 bodies on your board. So this is good. It's very helpful for getting to Appaloosa and just increasing the strength of your board. It also has a couple other subtle things that help. First of all, Meow Meow Mew is a rock and an earth, so you can banish it to summon Black Dragon. And Dodo is a wind, so if you want to use Raptite during your opponent's turn, you need to have a wind monster in your graveyard, so this provides that. Then if you want to use Dragite during your opponent's turn, or either player's turn really, Dropsies provides a water in the graveyard for that, which is very helpful. So it has like really good synergy with the deck in general. As far as hand traps, we have 3 Maxi, obviously the best card in the game, and well, happens to be an Earth for no reason, which helps. Ash, of course, just to go stop Maxi, it's very helpful to have. And then Nibiru already went over. Then we have the generic tuner extenders. So Dragon Buster Destruction Sword is a card that you ideally want to end on. So basically you're going to summon Borreload Savage Dragon and summon Union Carrier, and then equip the Dragon Buster to the Borreload Savage Dragon. And while it's equipped, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So this is what we call the Buster Lock, and you'll see it in the replay that I show after this. O-Lion is another very good extender. You summon it with Needle Fiber, generally. Halqifibrax Needle Fiber, that's what the name means. So you summon O-Lion, and when it's sent to the graveyard, it summons a token. So normally the token you can't do much with, but you can turn the token into Link Spider, which is an Earth and an effect monster. So that'll just help you both link climb and give you banishing materials for Black Dragon. Speaking of which, let's talk about the star of the show and the insanely, stupidly broken card that makes this deck so powerful, Black Dragon. So it can't be normal summoned or set. You can special summon it from your hand or graveyard by banishing 3 Earth monsters from your hand and or graveyard. So one crazy thing right off the bat is the summon is not once per turn. So you can keep summoning Black Dragon, sending it to your graveyard as link material, for example, and then bringing it back as long as you have enough rock monsters to banish, which if you are able to combo, you'll have plenty to do that. So you can summon it 3+ times during your turn, which is very helpful. It also doesn't have to banish rock monsters, it can banish earth monsters, which, as I said, it's nice because you can banish Maxi if you need to, or Link Spider, which are not rocks, but they are earth. The most broken part about it, though, is if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total levels equal 8. So this card is perfect for Adamancipators because your 3 starters are level 4, level 2, and level 2. So you can literally just grab an entire combo for follow-up, because 4 plus 2 is 8. You can also grab another copy of Block Dragon if you want to. Generally what you're going to do is grab Gigantes plus Researcher plus Seeker, because Researcher can be special summoned if you control Gigantes, which you can just special summon by banishing an Earth from your graveyard. So that's a pretty good play for follow-up. If you survive till turn 3, it really helps you kill your opponent. So this effect of Block Dragon is hard once per turn, so you can only do that once, even though you can summon it back multiple times. However, during your opponent's turn, you can send it to the graveyard by using IP Masquerena, and then you get that triple search once again during your opponent's turn. So yeah, this card is banned in the TCG for good reason. It should probably be banned in Master Duel. I don't know why it's allowed. Even just limiting it won't really make that big of a difference, because you generally are able to search it with Gallant Granite, which can search any rock monster. So they should probably just ban this card, especially because we're going to get a very powerful level 10 Synchro that will be coming out soon. At least if the leaks are true. And Block Dragon is a level 8, plus the level 2 tuner is 10. And that's just going to be really stupid. People are going to hate this deck. However, it is very fun to play. I'll give it that. Guess we can go into our extra deck now. So Riptide, I already went over. It can excavate and special summon any rock monster. But then during your opponent's turn, it has a nice effect where you can just target any card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. This is pretty good against Eldritch and really any graveyard for line deck. Four-Legged Savage Dragon. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a very popular card for a reason. Can negate any card or effect. Dragite. Generally, you don't want to make this guy going first, but going second he's extremely powerful, because during your main phase you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can return cards your opponent controls to the hand up to the number of excavated rock monsters. So you can just straight up return up to 5 cards from your opponent's field to the hand without targeting, which is really strong. And if you want to use it for its other effect, it can just negate a spell or trap card or effect, which is cool. Gallant Granite, a great extender who allows you to get to Block Dragon or Nibiru if you already have access to Block Dragon, or literally any rock that you're missing. It's a no-brainer in this deck, because you can easily make it with plenty of level 4s. The second effect you're not really going to use ever. I don't know why it exists, but whatever. Link Spider, I kind of talked about before. Turning a token into an effect monster is pretty useful. You should probably know that tokens are treated as normal monsters. It doesn't say that on any card, but that's just a rule of Yu-Gi-Oh! They're always treated as normal monsters, so turning it into an effect monster is nice, plus being an Earth attribute is the bonus. Secure Gardener. This is for a pretty niche play, but it does come up. So what you can do if you don't have much going for you in your hand, if you can get to Halqifibrax, you can summon out your Olion, link Halqifibrax and Olion into Union Carrier because they are both machine. Olion will summon a token, turn the token into Link Spider, equip Link Spider with Block Dragon, and then you link Link Spider into Secure Guard now, which gets your Block Dragon in the graveyard, and that counts as being sent from the field to the graveyard, which means you get the search effect, which is really insane. Although you cannot summon it for the rest of the turn due to Union Carry's restriction. But still, that's a good way to get your play started if you don't have much else going. Yum Yum Yu, it's part of the Prank Kids engine. Halqifibrax, really broken card. It's an obvious choice in this deck, in any synchro deck, really. And we have Nightmare Phoenix. It's pretty nice and generic. Dodo, just part of the Prank Kids engine. IP, obviously, to make Unicorn during your opponent's turn, usually. Union Carrier allows you to facilitate a lot of plays by not just being able to equip Block Dragon, but also the Dragon Buster to Buster Lock your opponent. This card should also be banned, by the way, but they decided to leave it in, I guess. Unicorn, of course, to use during your opponent's turn generally. Not always, but generally during your opponent's turn. It's a really good generic staple. Appaloosa, of course, to negate monster effects and protect your board. And then your big finisher is Access Code Talker, who you can usually make right away on your turn. So if they like set a couple cards and they aren't able to break your board, you go straight to Access Code Talker and force a response on them immediately, or you can just completely nuke their board. The additional great thing about Access Code Talker in this deck is that you can do the destruction effect for once for each attribute of Link monster that you have in your graveyard. So by the time you finish comboing, you can have up to, so you're going to have Unicorn, which is dark. You could have Carrier on your field or graveyard, which is light. Dodo, which is wind. Phoenix, which is fire. Hawk, which is water. And then Meow Meow, which is earth. So yeah, you can get like several pops from Access Code Talker, which is pretty awesome. And why I like it in this deck. That's about all I got for this deck profile. I know there are a couple different versions of this deck. I'm not sure if this version is the best. Probably not actually, but I haven't really experimented with the other one. So the other version of the deck, instead of running Sekka's Light, it'll run other spell cards like Miracle Rupture. So this lets you send one level 4 or lower rock monster from your deck to the graveyard. The second part of it doesn't matter. You'll send something like Revival Golem, who is a rock monster, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it from the graveyard. So that's a good way to play through hand traps, for example. Then you have Tenuous Spirit Adara, which is also a cool option that I'm going to experiment a bit more with. You can special summon it from your hand if you control no monsters. It is both Earth and a tuner, so it both enables Needle Fiber plays, Alka Fiber X plays, and allows you to summon Block Dragon off it. So that's a pretty cool tech card that has some synergy. And there's some other stuff that people do as well. But this is the way I've been playing it. I really like it. It's a fun deck, and it's not too expensive for how insanely powerful it is. So I guess that's all for the deck profile. Next I'll be going over probably just one replay, because I did upload a couple other replays of more competitive matches to my channel, which you can check out. I'm just going to show you basically the standard combo lines and how the deck is supposed to win, basically, if all goes according to plan. Here is a recording that I had from a match yesterday. This is basically just going to show you the bread and butter kind of combo in this deck if you don't get interrupted. So I opened up all 3 starters here, which is nice. And I Excavated Guardian, which is cool because it's a monster negate, so I can stop Nibiru if my opponent happens to have that. And I get another Guardian, which is nice. Not really necessary, but it's cool. So I go into Granite here. Now I can search Block Dragon. Now I will use Seeker and attempt to excavate something else. I get yet another Guardian. Choose to go with Roxy's here for potential Prank Kids plays. I don't think I actually end up using it for that, but it's fine. So we go into O-Lion here with the Alka Fiber X. Supplier will search Guardian. Then we synchro into Raptite, which will trigger O-Lion to create a token. Then I use Sekka's Light, put back the Guardian because I don't need it, and then draw 1 card. I turn the token into Link Spider. The reason I do this is because Link Spider is Earth, which will allow me to summon Block Dragon again by banishing it. Watch me. Now we go into Appaloosa with 3 materials. Since I have monster gates now, I can just go into Savage Dragon here. So I excavated the analyzer. Now we summon Block Dragon for the first time. Summon Union Carrier. Get Block Dragon's effect. And Union Carrier equip Dragon Buster to Borrowwood Savage Dragon. Summon back Block Dragon one more time. Summon Gigantes. Summon IP. And then summon Block Dragon for the third time. So yeah, this card is extremely broken, as you can see. So this is basically the full combo that you want to get ideally. Is Appaloosa with 3 negates, IP, Savage Dragon equipped with Dragon Buster so they can't summon from the extra deck, a Block Dragon on board, and sometimes you'll have even a Guardian for an additional negate. You won't always have that though, but it just happened to work out here. I got pretty lucky with my excavations. So this is very hard for your opponent to break. Plus I have Maxi and Nibiru in hand too. End phase, you have to reveal a rock to keep Guardian on board. Here I shotgun Maxi in case he has like a Kaiju or Lava Golem. On summon of his Unizombie, I'm just going to go into Unicorn to get the Block Dragon Search and spin this card back. So I get to draw one because Nightmare Unicorn is co-linked here. So now Block Dragon and Search. Researcher, Doki Doki, and Supplier. As you can see, the card is very broken. So now I see that my opponent's playing Zombie Eldritch or something like that. So here's an important interaction to know. So with Curse Eldland, it has an effect if it's sent from the Spell and Trap Zone to the graveyard, but Borrowwood Savage Dragon negates the activation, which means technically the card is not considered to be on the field. So I negate the activation with Savage Dragon, it goes to the graveyard, and it doesn't get the effect since it wasn't considered to be on the field. Uses Golden Lord. Just negate with Appaloosa. Negate with Appaloosa. One more time. To get another trap, he's gonna get the Golden Lord Forever. I don't know why he did that. It's not gonna help him at all. Conquistador set Scarlet Sanguine. So I already know this is Ice Dragon's Prison, I believe. Yeah, that's Ice Dragon's Prison. That is the counter trap. And this is Scarlet. Savage Dragon can negate this. And I just go first thing right into Access Code Talker. I don't need Appaloosa anymore. Since I use the Link 4's material, it gains 4,000 attack. And he's really dead there. So yeah, that's like a really standard game with Adamancipators. That's how it's supposed to go. Obviously this wasn't a close game or anything, but that was just to show how the combo works in general. That's all for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and join my Discord, which is in the description. Also, you can follow me on Master Duel right here. Look at that, got 31 followers now. That's pretty hype. Alright, peace.